I made a video bashing Brie Larson because of comments she's made that have alienated a large part of the Marvel fanbase. But I want to keep my movie reviews fair and unbiased, so I went to see Captain Marvel so I could talk about it from an informed perspective. I'm a huge fan of many strong female characters as long as they are written well. Despite the narrative being pushed by feminism, this has nothing to do with not wanting to see strong females. I believe Terminator 2's Sarah Connor is one of the greatest characters of all time, and I know a lot of you would agree with me. A lot of people also bring up Ripley from the Aliens series. Even when I made fun of Brie Larson, I held up Rosa Salazar in Alita Battle Angel as an alternative because Rosa clearly understands that one's sex shouldn't be the focal point of a film. I went into this film wanting it to be good, because who wants to waste time watching bad movies? Well, I mean, some people like that, but anyway, I was hoping it would add to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in some meaningful way. That said, this film was produced by Kevin Feige, but directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck instead of the Russo brothers, so if you're looking for the same tone as some of the more popular titles in this franchise, such as Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War, you're looking in the wrong place. First, the good. It's a Marvel film, so yes, you can expect good production values, and there were a couple of decent scenes of fighting and stuff blowing up. The CGI used to make Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury look younger was incredible. You've probably already heard about the cat, and yes, the cat was cool in a very unexpected way. And because this movie takes place in the past, some people might get a kick out of the 90s references that they've thrown in. The best parts of Brie Larson's portrayal of Captain Marvel are when she adjusts to Earth and opens up and shows up some vulnerability, but unfortunately that doesn't happen very often. Sadly, that's about it. The film feels very disjointed, like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be, and that is most likely because it was written with the goal of prioritizing a feminist worldview instead of prioritizing a coherent story and likable characters. The writing should always be the main focus, but after watching this film, I wasn't surprised to find out that I wasn't the only one who didn't fully understand how exactly she received her powers, nor was I the only one in realizing certain plot holes that are directly tied to Marvel films that are supposed to take place in the future. Throughout the film, there are unnecessary scenes peppered in that are at best pandering to women and at worst derogatory towards men. Captain Marvel experiences flashbacks of men being mean to her all her life. There's at least 2 scenes where she shoots a man's head in the form of a screen and in the form of a cardboard cutout. And there's even music choices that won't let you forget that yes, she is in fact a woman surrounded by ineffective men. In case you thought any of this was a coincidence, they included a scene that is a direct attack against anybody who thinks Larson should lighten up. I think it's just a little odd that the movie just preemptively intercepted criticism by creating these catchphrases that fans could use to defend against anybody who didn't like the film. And I think it's very telling that they understood this backlash was coming, and because of ideology, I guess they just didn't care. It was disappointing to see Nick Fury so broken and neutered in order to boost up Captain Marvel. They even went so far as to ruin the explanation of his eye patch for a cheap gag. There could have been a really great buddy cop type vibe between the two of them, and that honors both of them, but it just devolves into Captain Marvel making Fury look like a doofus at every turn. There are some scenes that seem to be made specifically for the purpose of showing Captain Marvel's empathy, but it seems like she reserves it all only for the females in her life. Towards the end, the film bashes you over the head with cringy lines, lest you forget that Captain Marvel is the best simply because she's a woman and nobody tells her what to do. Ultimately, the film accomplishes its goals of setting up an origin story, but you probably won't appreciate the politics being forced upon you when there are a dozen other much better films in the MCU that won't do that. The Russo brothers are coming back for Avengers Endgame, so hopefully they'll be able to turn this around. But the way the film so lazily connects to the Avengers, it has me a bit worried. Then again, maybe it's good that this film feels tacked on because it means you can miss it and not worry about missing important details for Endgame. I give it 5 dog humps out of 10. By the way, I'm glad that many bigger reviewers were willing to not bend to social pressure and universally praise this film like the mainstream media, but by not addressing the culture war, they swept many of the film's problems under the rug. Personally, I feel that not addressing the elephant in the room is doing the audience a disservice, since people are paying money and it's an integral part of understanding what to expect. A lot of people would just rather not have these sorts of politics in their movies. That said, a lot of people are in fact trying to push support for films like Alita Battle Angel, because having a strong female lead doesn't mean you have to crap all over men. The most likable female leads will always be the ones who appreciate and respect their male counterparts. Many will encourage you to either skip Captain Marvel altogether or pay for another film and sneak into Captain Marvel if you absolutely must see it. I'm not telling you to do that, but I think it's absolutely fair for people to feel that way given Larson's past comments and overall tone of the film. What I think is unfair is the mainstream's attempts to censor how people really feel about this film. Disney owns Marvel, and this is far from the first time they've ever been disingenuous with their films. If you look it up, you can find an interview with Howard Stern and Quentin Tarantino where Disney essentially muscled him out of a contract with a theater so that they would play Star Wars instead of The Hateful Eight. It says a lot when they have to run this much damage control in order to save what is ultimately a mediocre film, regardless of political leanings. Orale, now I can stop impersonating my dweeb-ass master and go back to using my real voice. Hey, I know this review is too late and nobody's gonna watch this crap, but if you like this content, let me know.